the lost city of gold, but no one who finds it ever returns. Have you ever heard a legend so dark and mysterious that it chills you to the bone? Deep in the heart of an ancient jungle, shrouded by tangled vines and cursed by forgotten gods, lies the lost city of gold. They say its glimmer is beyond imagination and its curse even more terrifying. For centuries, whispers have warned that no one who finds this city ever comes back. Stay with me as I reveal a tale of greed, magic, and unspeakable horror that will leave you questioning what lies hidden in the darkness. My name is Kofi, and I grew up on the edge of the great forest, where our elders told tales of a city built by an ancient civilization, a city of dazzling gold that promised wealth and power beyond dreams. But beneath that promise lay a curse so deadly that every soul drawn to its allure was doomed to vanish into the jungle's depths. The legend began long ago, when our ancestors believed that the gods walked among men. They built a city so radiant that its golden spires could be seen even in the darkest nights. But a terrible sacrifice was made to create it, a sacrifice that demanded the souls of those who dared to covet its treasures. The gods, angered by mortal greed, cursed the city. Any who set foot within its gates would be trapped, never to return to the world of the living. I first heard of the lost city of gold from an old traveler who stumbled into our village. His eyes were haunted, and his voice trembled as he spoke of a shimmering mirage deep in the forest, a city where gold flowed like water and the air crackled with ancient magic. He warned, beware the allure of gold, for it hides a curse more deadly than any plague. His words burned into my mind, igniting a desire to uncover the truth behind the legend. As I grew older, the lure of the unknown became irresistible. Despite the warnings, I joined an expedition led by a group of brave souls and seasoned guides. Determined to locate the lost city, we set off at dawn, our hearts pounding with excitement and dread. The jungle was alive with strange sounds, a chorus of distant howls, the rustling of leaves, and whispers carried on the wind that sounded almost like voices from another time. Days passed as we hacked our way through thick undergrowth and crossed winding rivers. Every step deeper into the forest felt like a step into another world, a realm where nature ruled with an ancient, unfathomable power. At night, the campfire's flickering light revealed shadows that danced and shifted, as if the jungle itself were watching us. One humid evening, as we settled by a quiet stream, our guide, an old man named Baba Jomo, shared a secret in hushed tones. The city is not a place of mere gold, he said. It is a living curse, guarded by spirits that hunger for the souls of the greedy. Many have searched for it, but those who get close, they are never seen again. His eyes, dark and serious, held the weight of too many lost lives. Yet, despite his warning, our determination grew. We pressed on, driven by the hope of unearthing an ancient wonder. Late one night, as a thick fog rolled in, we reached a clearing where the air felt charged with an eerie energy. There, hidden among towering baobabs and twisting vines, lay an enormous stone archway, half swallowed by nature. Its surface was carved with strange symbols and images of gods and demons locked in eternal battle. I felt an unexplainable pull toward it, a magnetic force that promised untold riches, an unspeakable peril. We entered the clearing, our footsteps muffled by soft, damp earth. As we passed through the archway, the air grew colder, and an unsettling silence replaced the usual cacophony of jungle sounds. It was as if we had stepped into a realm where time itself had frozen. In the distance, beyond a dense curtain of trees, glints of gold shimmered faintly in the moonlight. Our hearts raced as we moved cautiously forward, each step heavy with foreboding. Soon, the forest opened into a vast valley dominated by ancient ruins. There, rising from the mist like a phantom, stood the lost city of gold. Golden domes and towering spires, covered in moss and engraved with fading symbols, reached up to the starry sky. The city exuded a beauty that was almost hypnotic, but even as we marveled at its splendor, a dark chill crept into our bones. I remember standing on the edge of a crumbling bridge, gazing at the glimmering walls of the city. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of my own heartbeat. Then, as if stirred by a force unseen, a low, mournful hum began to rise from the ruins. It was a sound that resonated deep within me, a song of sorrow, warning of ancient grief and retribution. Suddenly, a piercing cry shattered the silence. One of our companions, a young man full of bravado, had disappeared into the ruins. Panic surged through our group as we rushed forward, calling his name. All we found were strange footprints leading into a dark corridor lined with gold-plated statues whose eyes seemed to follow our every move. Baba Jomo's voice quivered as he explained, "The curse of the city claims those who dare disturb its slumber. Our friend is not the first, and he may not be the last." His warning echoed in my mind as we pressed further into the heart of the city, determined to uncover its secrets despite the growing sense of doom. Inside the ruins, every corridor and crumbling hall told a story of glory and tragedy. We came across murals depicting a time when the city was alive with bustling marketplaces and joyful celebrations. Yet, intertwined with these scenes of prosperity were images of despair, a great flood, dark clouds, and figures reaching out in agony. It became clear that the wealth of the city came at a terrible price. As we moved deeper, the oppressive atmosphere thickened. The golden light that once seemed inviting now appeared sinister, casting long, twisted shadows that seemed to reach out to ensnare us. I could feel eyes watching from every corner, and the walls whispered secrets of ancient curses and lost souls. In one cavernous chamber, we discovered an altar stained with dark, ancient markings. Here, legends said that a great sacrifice had been made to bind the curse to the city, ensuring that its treasures would forever lure the greedy to their doom. A sudden, icy wind swept through the chamber, extinguishing our torches and plunging us into darkness. In that moment of terror, I heard a voice, a soft, sorrowful whisper that seemed to come from the very walls. "Leave, leave now, or be lost forever." The sound was both a plea and a warning, and it sent shivers down my spine. In our desperate attempt to relight our torches, we fumbled in the dark. When the light finally returned, one of our guides was missing again. His belongings lay scattered on the cold stone floor, and his footprints trailed off into a tunnel that we had not noticed before. The realization hit us hard. The city was alive with a malevolent force that fed on our fear, drawing us deeper into its labyrinth of despair. Despite our mounting terror, I knew I had to document what was happening. I had to understand the curse of the lost city of gold, not just for our sake, but for the sake of those who would come after us, drawn by the same irresistible lure. With a heavy heart, I led a small group down the dark tunnel, our voices barely above whispers as we recited protective chants taught by the village elders. The tunnel was narrow and winding, its walls slick with moisture and covered in ancient symbols that pulsed faintly in the flickering lights. Every step felt like a descent into madness, as if the city itself was trying to swallow us whole. The air grew colder, and the sound of our footsteps echoed like distant cries of lost souls. At the tunnel's end, we emerged into a vast underground chamber. Before us stood a magnificent pool of water, its surface perfectly still and mirror-like. Floating above the pool was a single, enormous golden artifact, a crown encrusted with precious gems that shone with an inner light. It was said that this crown was the source of the city's power, the very heart of its curse. According to ancient lore, whoever wore the crown would be granted unimaginable riches, but at the cost of their soul. As I stepped forward to examine the crown, the ground trembled, the water in the pool began to ripple, and from its depths emerged a spectral figure, a guardian of the curse, its eyes burning with eternal sorrow and rage. The figure raised a hand, and in a voice that was both ancient and mournful, it spoke. "Greed has led you to the end. The crown is a burden that no mortal can bear. Turn back now, or be forever bound to this cursed realm." The words echoed in my mind as I stared at the crown, torn between the lure of its beauty and the terror of its curse. The guardian's gaze held a warning, yet in its eyes I saw a deep, unending sorrow, a reminder that the lost city was not merely a treasure trove, but a prison for souls trapped by their own ambition. At that moment, the chamber filled with a brilliant, blinding light. When it faded, I found myself alone. My companions were nowhere to be seen, their voices replaced by an eerie silence that pressed in on me from all sides. The crown still floated above the pool, its light now dull and haunting. I realized then that I, too, was trapped in this nightmare, a wanderer in a city where no one ever returned. Desperation clawed at my heart as I raced back through the labyrinth of ruins, searching for an escape. Every corridor, every doorway led me deeper into the maze. The city seemed to shift around me, rearranging its pathways like a living puzzle designed to trap me forever. The ghostly whispers of lost souls and the mournful cries of the guardian echoed in my ears, a constant reminder that my greed had led me into a fate worse than death. I stumbled upon a crumbling mural that depicted a prophecy. He who seeks the gold will find his end, for the curse of greed devours all who dare grasp its glimmer. In that moment, I knew the truth of the legend. The lost city of gold was a trap, a cursed paradise built on the bones of those who dared to dream of wealth beyond measure. And now, I was one of them. With every ounce of courage left, I followed a narrow passage illuminated by a strange, phosphorescent glow. It wound its way upward, promising an exit from the suffocating darkness below. The passage opened into a small cavern where a single, ancient door stood ajar. I pushed it open and was blinded by the pale light of dawn filtering through the thick canopy of the jungle. I emerged from the ruins, trembling and broken, but alive. Behind me, the lost city faded into the mist, its golden spires a distant, haunting memory. I had escaped its clutches, but the curse had left its mark on my soul, a reminder of the price of unchecked greed and the dark magic that lurks in forgotten legends. Today, I share my tale as a warning. The lost city of gold is real, and its beauty hides a terror that no mortal should ever seek. For in that cursed place, wealth is measured not in gold, but in the souls of those who lose themselves to its lure. If you ever hear the call of a hidden paradise, remember my story, and know that some treasures are best left buried in the darkness of time. Thank you for listening. May you always be wise enough to avoid the pitfalls of greed, and may the light of truth guide you away from the shadows where cursed cities lie in wait.